I've been involved for over 10 years with Managed Print, and I can remember my first reaction to the information that I heard. Wow, this might be a no-brainer. This is before webinars, and I drove to Atlanta for the seminar. Remember those? That original information was extremely detailed, and the organizer recommended that we get a blueprint of the building, of all the offices, get copies of the customer invoices, and he created a very detailed process to get to what the customer wants to know. Can WJ Office save me money through Managed Print? That's what we're here to talk about together today. Does Managed Print make sense for you? That first seminar was conducted by a big city guy who said we should not even be talking to anyone about Managed Print who doesn't have at least 40 printers. Wrong. I discovered early on that most of the things that larger businesses want to save money on will also appear to smaller organizations. WJ has Managed Print contracts with companies that have hundreds of printers and companies that have less than 10. Things that you may or may not know about your business. By the way, that's not a picture of me, but I think it looks like a picture of a young Andy Rooney, don't you? A printer goes down in your office. What happens at your place? Let me share with you what we've found typically happens. If there's an IT department, someone there gets called. And if there isn't an IT department, there's someone in the building that's computer and IT savvy, and that person is called. The printer's opened. Maybe the toner is removed, replaced, and a couple of things looked at. But chances are that person has never had a course in printer repair. So the result is it's not worth fixing. Let's order another one. The bottom line is that print is the most single unaudited cost in most businesses. You may be replacing your hardware prematurely and creating a lot more capital expenditures than you need to be. Now, there's basically two types of print. No, it's not color and black and white. Well, I guess that's true too, but for this purpose, there's transactional print and managed print. Transactional print is what most offices operate under today. Order toner cartridges, keep spares in the stock room, replace printers when they need to be replaced because nobody knows how to fix them. Or they're not worth paying to get fixed. Under a transactional print program, a business can have hundreds or even thousands of dollars tied up in spare cartridges. We had one customer, when we did our assessment, had $2,000 of cartridges in their stockroom. Even worse is that $900 of those cartridges did not fit any of their present equipment. Those cartridges were from all of the previously owned printers that broke, were not repaired, they were trashed over the years, and yet they still had the cartridges in the stockroom. You may find the same situation at your office. And remember that person who was given the task of buying a new printer? Well, that person normally will go online with the knowledge that he wants either a color or black and white printer with certain features, a speed range, and a rough purchase price with little awareness or concern over the total cost of ownership. Now, we're going to get into that definition in just a minute, but let's move on to managed print. As we move into managed print and what's involved, I want to point out one thing. Not all managed print programs are alike. There are different versions. Some include toner only, but most operate similar to your copier agreement, in which you pay a price per page that includes parts, toner, and labor. Some agreements use a blended rate, in which all black prints are at one rate, all color prints at another rate, and some agreements use a per device rate. Under this plan, the cost per page is by device or bottle, so that you can see the price per page of each device, and we can determine the best device for each workstation. This method also gives you the best way to manage and lower your costs, and you'll see why in a minute. With each all-inclusive agreement, however, the toner is monitored by software centrally, and you get your toner on a just-in-time basis. So no longer are you throwing away toner cartridges because that replacement printer would not take the same supplies as your previous printer. No longer do you have dollars in inventory tied up because you're paying a price per page, because that can be generally budgeted each month. And no longer do you have to have someone monitoring the toner each person uses so that you don't run out at a critical time. I've yet to see a person who volunteered for that job of ordering toner. And finally, under a managed print program, you have qualified technicians fixing the equipment instead of prematurely replacing the equipment. And in the case of adding new equipment or replacing worn out equipment, you have a partner such as WJ Office to help you decide which model is right for that particular workstation and for the volume of printing done there. Speaking of replacement printers, what are the considerations that you should be using to replace the type and model of the printer, and what model should you buy? Of course, we have price, speed, black and white or color, print volume, and the length of time you normally keep your printers. Finally, you need to address the lifetime cost of ownership, or, as some folks prefer, to the TCO, or total cost of ownership. Let's talk about the key steps in your decision. First is the purpose. How will this printer be used? Is it a single standalone printer used by one person or by a work group? Is it used every day? Is this printer even necessary, or is there a copier nearby that can be used for printing? Does it need to be color, or is there a color copier nearby for the occasional color printing needed by that workstation? Maybe you should consider a black and white printer instead. You know, in human resources, most companies are looking for the right person in the right job on the right team. In printing, it's about the right product for the right purpose at the right cost. We mentioned the total cost of ownership earlier. Many people think of the price that they paid for the equipment as the total cost. That is simply not true. Price is only one factor, and quite frankly, the largest factor in the total cost of ownership is the toner. As a matter of fact, whether you use a managed print program or a transactional print program, the toner is 80% of the total cost of ownership. And that's just not the price of the toner. The key ingredient is the cost per page. The price of the toner divided by the yield of that cartridge. Sometimes I've heard from a customer that the price of the cartridge is too high, but that person had not bothered to do the rest of the math. Let's look at it. You're considering two printers, Model A and Model B. And as I said earlier, price is not the only factor that you should be looking at. Our price on Model A is $350 for the printer. Our toner per cartridge is $59. Our yield, 2,200 prints. If we divide that 2,200 into 59, we get 2.68 cents per print. And if we look at a case of paper of 5,000 sheets per month, that number comes to $134 a month. Depending on the life of the printer, how long you want to keep it, and I'm using 7 years as a life number here, we spend $11,256 on toner. If we add that cost of the printer to that number, we're going to have a total cost over that 7 years of $11,606. Let's take a look at Model B. With Model B, we have a printer that costs twice as much, $700. We have a toner yield of 8,500 prints and a cost of the cartridge at $139. So if we had 5,000 prints a month, just like what we had before, and we divided the price of the cartridge by the number of prints, we get 1.64 cents per print. Or if at 5,000 prints per month, $82 a month is what it's going to cost us for toner. We're going to use the same machine life of 84 months, so 82 times 84 is $6,888 that the toner for this particular machine is going to cost us over the life of the printer. All we have to do now is add the original cost of the printer of $700 and our lifetime cost, or our total cost of ownership for that particular printer, Model B, is $7,588. If we take the Model A of $11,606 cost and we subtract the $7,588, what we're going to find is that we have a savings of $4,018 over that 7-year period by choosing that particular unit. So as you can see, everything that you would consider a higher price machine, a higher cost of toner, the key here is the yield and the cost per page. And of course, we're assuming an industry standard, which is the standard for coverage on the page of 5%. So, why do you need a company like WJ Office? It's math, right? Well, let's look at your environment. Your environment. How many printers do you have? How much downtime do you have when a printer breaks or needs repair? If you're buying new printers each time, you have to wait for the new one to be shipped in. Probably start stocking a new toner cartridge at a premium price because there are no compatibles. But what do the largest companies do? Don't they have IT departments? I'm glad I asked that question, and I hope you are too. So, why not use IT? First of all, they're trained in network administration, web apps, security, help desk support, and other such things, not in printer hardware support. If you have a person on your staff that is an IT support tech with a degree, my bet is he's never had a course in how to fix a printer. There are just too many other things that are important that he or she has to do than mess with printers. It's a totally different skill set. Think a minute of the medical profession. A general practitioner and a heart surgeon are both doctors. But you wouldn't go to your family doctor to perform surgery on your heart. Different specialties, different skill sets. And let's talk a minute about the value of time. At WJ Office as president, I am fully capable of mowing the grass, cleaning and vacuuming the offices, cleaning the bathrooms and kitchen. But those activities are not the most valuable use of my time. Time is the one asset that we cannot replace. Okay, this is neat, but where and how can WJ Office save you money in your printing? What do you have to do? What are the next steps? First, we need to evaluate your current print fleet with our software. In many cases, there's not any equipment that we are going to be asking you to buy. We may be able to take over your current fleet as is. Under our program, you eliminate the dollars you have tied up in spare cartridges, and you turn haphazard or inefficient purchases into budgeted expenses and assume far more control over your print expense. Last, you eliminate unnecessary capital expenditures. Let me give you an example. We have a customer who had many of the same models of printers in his fleet. However, one printer had almost 1 million prints, while another had just under 200,000. What we recommended was that they redeploy their assets. In other words, exchange those two printers. This allowed them to make both printers last longer without any additional investment. We would love for you to work with us. We're on a mission to help as many companies as we can lower their printing costs, and we want to make a difference in how you can operate this portion of your business more efficiently. It's the WJ way. One of the largest organizations in the area told me one day, "Neville, we love your managed print program. Our IT staff doesn't have to worry about printers anymore, and our partnership has basically added 2 more techs to our IT staff." In our 44 years of being in business, we've had 2 slogans over that period of time. The first one was, "Our business is keeping your business running smoothly." For the last several years, our slogan has been, "Innovative results delivered." We feel like that we have a program that holds true to both of those slogans. We deliver a very innovative program that will help keep your business running smoothly. Thank you so much. And now let's get started.